if you're leveling the wrong technology, you're basically falling behind with each day. So in this video I'm going to answer almost all of the questions in past 2 years I received from the players. In the same time I'm going to give you some tips and tricks how to proceed with the economy tower tree. Now I'm going to, not economy tower tree, in general with your researches. Now first I'm going to start of course with the milestone that everybody is looking to get, and this is actually a tier 5 opening. This is the one of the biggest milestones in Call of Dragons. Sometimes can take like 1 year, maybe a year and something, close to 2 years, strongly depend how active you are you a spender in this game, but this is a big deal. So I want to make sure you're following the right steps, so in Call of Dragons you're going to get the best tech from the competitors. It can be in the season 1, it can be in the season 2, I don't know in which season you are in Call of Dragons, but at the end of the day we're looking to boost your knowledge over this topic. Now first thing I have to mention is at level, if I remember right, at level 7 or 8 of Assault strategies, you're going to be asked to have all the economy tower, all the economy tech. Okay, I'm going to say all the economy tower tree because, you know, economy tech, we're used to use a lot of tech tree or tower tree or something like this. But anyway, in the military tech, Assault strategy 2 is going to be depend for the next level on full economy tech builded. So this is the economy tech. You're going to need basically this thing here, and this is a plain chain tool. With this thing, obviously this is for gathering. Majority of the people don't care that much about this, but at the end of the day you're going to need everything here to proceed with tier 5. So I'm going to share with you one strategy, or at least what I will do if I have to start over. Obviously, at least the game actually puts the game prospecting away, so you know, back in the days it was mandatory, right now it's not, so you can actually skip this thing, but I'm not going to go over each talent. The main point you have to focus is actually getting this 15% research speed. This is going to help you by reducing the time, and by reducing the time you're going to need less speed ups to open your new technology or your new researches. Now the main focus here should be in the military tech. Now I decided to make this video about the researches because the majority of the guides for Call of Dragons, especially the beginner guides, are a little outdated, just because back in the days we was not having merits, which merits is something extremely crucial for free-to-play players and WoW spenders. With merits you can get speed ups, you can get pet skills. These days pet skills is extremely important, and many other stuffs that you basically get for free. Okay, you need merits, it's not exactly for free, but yeah, at the end of the day we're looking to have extremely strong legions to be at the cutting edge of the technology for the military. So I strongly suggest go till the scholarship. Now here there is a couple very important researches that you need to also know. Now the other one is obviously going to be the scholarship 1, which is going to give you research speed 10%. The other one is architecture. Architecture is going to give you building speed 10%, and boy oh boy, you're going to need a lot of building speed and a lot of research speed in Call of Dragons. So yeah, the other thing, obviously this one you cannot actually continue doing the researches, but yeah, building speed up, architecture 1 with building speed up 15% is going to also support your journey with getting the higher town hall, getting the other buildings more faster. And there is a hidden power in all these things, especially for the building. Obviously the research we already know for the research, but for the building you're going to see that this is the Hall of Order. With each level is going to increase your legion capacity, extremely important. just because you're going to have more troops in your legion. Even though in the season 1 you're going to struggle, not gonna lie, you're going to struggle to fill this legion, but you're going to have big capacity and you're going to be able to have more marches outside your castle. This legion queue mean exactly this. So at level 20, I think it's level 21, you're going to have like 5 marches, and at best you're going to get 12.5k. This is legion capacity, which is absolutely crazy. Now this is just a single building. If we go over the College of Order, you're going to see that here you're going to get research speed with each level up to 25% research speed. So the moment you're thinking to open the tier 5, obviously you have to wait to get all the research speed you can. It can be from the buildings, it can be from the VIP, it can be from the Mana Stone, it can be by researches. All these things, you just stack all these things, all these buffs, and at the end of the day you're going to spend way less speed ups, and like this you're going to guarantee opening the tier 5. Okay, back in the days I make a stream, this is funny story. Back in the days I make a stream, tier 5 opening. I start the stream was like close to 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and I didn't manage to open the tier 5. I was needing like 300 more days. So that's why I'm saying, yo, get all these research buffs that you can. And obviously rest of the buildings is also having something that is boosting. For example, here you're going to have like 2% overall defense. For the marksmen you're going to get okay, I'm not going to go that much in deep because, you know, this is a video for the text. But yeah, building speed and research speed is going to be your main priority. The other main priority, I can actually say, from all these things you see here, is going to be the stamina. Increasing the max XP, CP or combat points, and this is breath control 1, increase combat points recovery speed with 5%. You're going to also have this thing right here, stamina 2 and breath control 2. Now why this thing is important is just going to give you more combat points. By having more speed of recovery of these combat points, you're going to go and make more darklings, you're going to go and do more forts. From the darklings and the forts, you're going to get the missing pieces for your rally beacon and your watchtower. These two buildings in Call of Dragons is with huge importance, even though that they're not doing that much. Okay, maybe rally beacon is doing something, but at the end of the day, the rest, the watchtower and rally beacon is not that important, especially if you're not a rally leader. So this thing is going to help you just gathering these resources, which is needed. These two buildings are needed to open your College of Order level 25, or like I like to say, Academy. So you're going to get all the research speed you can get from this building, and at the same time it's going to give you resources. You're going to have chance, if you do forts, to get silver keys, gold keys, medals. All these things you can actually afford by having more combat points, so you can do more fights outside your castle. In the same time, you're going to level up your heroes also if you're in season 1. Back in the days, for the people who don't remember, but each season we was having the heroes reset to level 1. It was a huge pain. Thank God actually the game decided, okay boys, no more reset of the level, and yeah. And yeah, I'm not going to go that much in deep with the heroes back in the days what was, but still, we're having the best times for opening the tier 5 with the kingdom buffs, with non-stop having Mana Stone 5, because back in the days we was waiting the end of the season, so we gather some kind of some Mana Stones, and it was actually painful. Now you already know where to focus. From the economy town tree, let's talk about the military tech. Now military tech, obviously you're going to try to research and get the best troops. Now you may not actually research in this situation, even though I think is needed, but maybe, you know, you're going to slowly start researching and going further. Now here is the thing, focus first. Obviously the path is clear. You have to go step by step, opening new tiers, boosting the existing tiers and etc. But there is universal researches that is going to support your army by a lot, and by universal researches I can actually point to a couple of them. Now, for example, this is increase melee unit attack, so this is going to apply to a cavalry and infantry. In the same time, we're having also the defense, again infantry, cavalry, but this is a green one, absolutely the same for the marksmen and mages. We're going to have some boost there. This is the specific troop boost that we're currently getting. This increased normal attack damage by 10%. This is for ballista, but there is even more universal boost in this direction. And when we go here, you're going to see this is defense formation. Legion defense 15%. So this is applying for cavalry, for infantry, for mages, for marksmen. The other one is going to be increased HP 15%, again for all the troops. Why this is important? Because this thing here is increasing your survivability of all the legions. It's not like only for the melee units, because you know, today you can play cavalry, tomorrow you may decide, okay, it's time to go out with my mages, you know, to support the alliance in the big fight. So in Call of Dragons, this is the best 3 researches that you can at one point actually stop and start doing. Obviously this researches is going to take your time, for sure, because it's not that easy. I think this one was like 70 days or maybe 75 or 94. I'm not 100% sure, this is the WASP levels, but it's very time consuming, but in the same time it's sketching all of your troops. Now, if you want to be a main troop of one specific troop, maybe it's a good, for example, you want to go mage main, let's say it like this. Obviously, this is going to be the 2 researches you for sure want to have. Here, you can just get not all of them, because again, this is a time consuming. The moment you start see the research is going over 1 week, just don't go for this research. Obviously, you want to open the tier 4 and Celestials. If your League of Order is going to be Celestials, it's going to be these goblins on the dragon if you're Wilderberg, or eagles if you're Spring Warden. And from there, again, don't focus that much over these researches and go with the mage one. Even though that's to actually start going for the mage one, most likely you're going to need everything here. So at the end of the day, this is the mechanic of the game, where they're basically ask you to open the most strong troop in Call of Dragons. They ask you to actually open all the researches and all the tech existing in the research. Maybe you can skip level 9 and 10 of this, for example, defensive formation, but you're still going to need it, okay? You're still going to need it. And this is cost a lot of time. Now, this place here you're looking for is the most time-consuming existing thing in Call of Dragons. Absolutely crazy amount of time is needed here. Rest, obviously, these 3 defense formation, assault strategy, and first aid in Call of Dragons is not going to need that much time. It's still going to need time, but compared to the other one, it's not going to be that much. And something I want to say, just don't get bited by the flashy new tech. You know, the moment you, for example, you finish this one, you want to start opening tier 4, which is completely fine. Opening the tier 4 is essential, but you know, just by, for example, going for the Swordsman 3, which is, you know, opening the next tier, but don't get bited by some researches that is giving you, well, value. For example, this one, damage due by Legion in city. This is a garnison. This is Sicilian damage taken reduction. This is a garnison stuffs. Damage due by Legion in city, stuff like this. Now, if you get burned, the chance you actually, you know, if you're in season 1 or season 2 and there is a whales on the enemy side, well, it's not going to save you that much. I mean, this thing is not something game changing, and better teleport behind from this to count on these researches. So the point I'm making is there is different researches that have value for you, and only focus over the one that is bringing value for you. And this is mostly researchers that is catching off your troops, even though that's going for a single troop is the best way to play for war spender and free to play. Still, I think those one is giving absolutely the best of value in Call of Dragons, because you know, you finish your mages, you still have cavalry, okay, you still have infantry, you can still use those troops. Your heroes may not be developed very well, but you're still going to support your alliance and you're going to get the benefits from these researchers right here. And you're going to thank yourself when you outlast the enemy by a lot, because having the more survivability on the battlefield is just going to let your legion be present more on the battlefield, which it directly influence the damage you're doing, because the more time you're on the battlefield, the more times your heroes is going to fire up their rage skill and you're going to do basically more damage. But this is for survivability, is also applying for the attack. So yeah, I guess this will for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to hit one like if you get any value, subscribe if you're new here. I wish you a great day and see you in the next Call of Dragons video.